P2B has joined other opposition politicians in condemning the charade that happened in Edo State over the weekend, saying that all political actors, including INEC officials that caused damage to our democracy today, that it will inevitably take revenge on them in the future, including their children. Writing on his verified X handle, P2B said, quote, "What happened over the weekend in the name of election in Edo State does not in any way represent the democratic process we chose as a method of electing our political leadership. Any nation whose leadership recruitment process is so fatally flawed is doomed, and we are all seeing the effect in our country. I urge those in authority not to allow this situation to stand or depend on it to remain in power. As a country, we have invested significantly in IREV and BIVAS, and they must be allowed to function and used properly in order to free our electoral process from the massive falsification that plagued it and worsening. To the lecturers and others complicit in perpetuating this charade, you must reflect deeply on the roles you are playing in damaging the very foundation of our democracy. The damage you are causing today will inevitably take revenge on you tomorrow and affect your children in the future. This kind of action has no place in a true democracy. That is why I have always maintained that today's politics is not about capturing power, but about saving the country and making it work for everyone, regardless of their background." Unquote. Also condemning the charade that happened in Edo State over the weekend, Olumide Akpata, the Labour Party governorship candidate, in an address to newsmen, called the election a transaction. He made a reference to his polling unit, that he was there, he witnessed everything, but he couldn't just compete in buying votes, because after all, it is his polling unit. He should prove that he has the local support. But after seeing what was going on, he didn't want to participate in buying votes because of his belief that the value of the vote should not be reduced to naira and kobo, rather to the economic power the vote should command. This is because when people vote for good governance in an election, they end up voting for a better future, not just for themselves, but for their unborn children. But when they sell their votes, it's like eating today to forgo tomorrow. Selling your votes for 5,000 naira or 10,000 naira in today's Nigeria, it wouldn't last for more than a few days. What happens after that? Anyone who offers you money to vote for him, the person is not coming to take care of you. He's coming to recover his investment. This needs to be said over again. People don't just get it. The people seeking for political leadership in an election, they are supposed to use their own words, word of mouth, to convince you how they will affect your life, how they will turn around the fortunes of your state. That is what it should be, not offering you money for you to vote for them so that they will now start lording themselves over you. And once someone buys your vote in an election, you can't turn around tomorrow and start holding him accountable, start telling him this road you haven't built this one you haven't done that, because the transaction has completed between you and him. You offered him your vote and he paid for it. Now to the people giving up on democracy and the electoral process in Nigeria. It's not easy to defeat a corrupt system that is so rewarding. Just look at this Mondo Bebelo, for instance. All the millions and billions he spent in this election, he is going to sit down in office from day one and start recovering that his investment. So it's a reward. Whoever finds himself in this situation will defend the corrupt system with his last blood. He will do everything within his power to defend the corrupt system. Even in countries where they had revolutions, many were bloody. In Europe, in France, in the US, some even had revolutions up to 2 or 3 times. So it is never easy to change or overthrow a corrupt system that is not working in the interest of the masses. And this giving up and nonchalant mentality actually enabled the vote buying in Edo State. No matter the party you belong to or voted for in the election, you must agree that the turnout was very low. Only about 20 to 25% of voters bothered to come out to vote in the election. So imagine if the turnout was up to 50%. How many people are they going to buy? Yes, Elections are held once in 4 years, so people can't even make out just that day, that election day, to come out and perform their civic duties. They want Nigeria to change. They want Nigeria to become a first world country, but they don't want to work for it. The time for sitting on the fence is over. If you fail to participate in an election, the few people that participated will decide the fate of everyone. If the population is 10 million, or let's use Nigeria for example, 200 million, and only 10 million people bothered to come out on election day to vote, they will determine the fate of the entire population, the 200 million people. Just like the people shouting "Divide Nigeria, revolution now, let everyone go home and manage his resources and govern himself." Can you match their military power? Or will you use your mouth to do the revolution? Once you say revolution now, it will happen automatically. Nigerians don't like facing the reality. We don't like telling ourselves the truth. Despite the fact that many people believe that we cannot vote ourselves out of this problem we find ourselves, that we cannot defeat the corrupt enterprise holding Nigeria hostage with our votes, but there is no other viable way of doing it. Is it protest? The one that happened in August, what did it achieve? In fact, it emboldened them. That's why they increased the price of petrol, increased taxes, increased everything. So election remains the only way and the least risky option Nigerians can use to change the leadership, not just in their states but at the federal level. It's as simple as going to your polling unit on election day, and that polling unit is still in your neighborhood. You know each other, you know majority of the people that will come there to vote. So imagine if 200 people are registered to vote in that polling unit and about 180 people show up on election day to cast their vote. How many people are they going to buy? At least one party would like to buy majority of the people voting there so as to win in that polling unit. So let's say they want to buy 100 people with 10,000. That will mean they will need to spend 1 million naira just in that polling unit. Now put it the other way around. Imagine about 150 people in a polling unit stand their ground and say, no, we are voting for the right candidate. Anyone we find here that is trying to offer people money to buy their votes, we will arrest him and deal with him the street way. So imagine if this is repeated in multiple and hundreds of polling units. You will conduct that revolution in a very peaceful manner. Yes, this is actually the least risky option, but Nigerians see it as a tough task. That's why politicians capitalize on our lackadaisical attitude. They know you won't be bothered to come out to vote. So the few people that are there, they will just pay them off and take the votes, plus the ones they will write and change the figures. At the end of the day, the worst candidate will be declared winner. Another thing Nigerians need to work on is our solidarity. We are very, very selfish. This is not just unique to Edo State, it is everywhere in the country. When you place two options before an average Nigerian and ask him to choose one, number one option is to take something that will benefit only him, while the second option will be to take something that will benefit everyone in Nigeria or in the state. The average Nigerian will choose the one that will benefit only himself. He doesn't care about his neighbor, the next guy near him, he doesn't care about him. Most people are selfish, they only care about themselves. So this is why we always have people who will offer their votes to politicians on a platter. Imagine selling your votes for even 1 million naira. It's not worth it, because you know that that politician paying you that money will recover that money at the detriment of not just you that sold that vote to him, but everyone in the state or everyone in his constituency, whether the president, a senator, or a federal representative. So giving up is not an option. Nigeria will continue this way the next 200 years and nothing will change. People that made money through dubious means, they can't even point to how they made their money. They will use that money to come and buy the votes of our people and be declared winner in elections. They will be lauding themselves over us. They will recover that their investment and the cycle continues. So when are we going to say, let us all troop out in our numbers and do the right thing? Any day Nigerians decide to do the right thing, Nigeria will change. That's the reality. Thanks for watching.